Hello again, everybody. It is Takedown. Scott Casper. We continue our coverage of the sport. We head to Columbia, Missouri. There, the head coach, Brian Smith, at his desk in his office. It was just a few days ago when Brian Smith picked up his 200th win as a college coach. 21-9, the margin of victory over ODU. He joins us now. Coach, congratulations.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks a lot.
I understand it's a lot of hard work being a head coach in this day and age, perhaps even harder with all the paperwork and all the meetings and things that go into being a head coach that most people normally never see. 200 wins. Has it been worth it?
Uh, Definitely worth it. There's no doubt about that. But there's, you know, I got, I was told that after the duel, and I had no clue. And I told the media and my Tony Randazzo, my sports media relations person, I said, this is a lot of people. I think of, gosh, there's probably about 10, 12 assistant coaches that were involved with that, hundreds of student athletes. It's more than just one person that contributes to that. And so, there's other people. I mentioned that night, my wife. My wife has put up with me for 24 years or whatever of coaching, and coaching is a difficult thing when you're a coach's wife. They have to put in a lot of time when I'm not there because they have to do a lot of the extra work for parenting. So I give a lot of credit to my wife, how much time she puts in and allows me to be a successful coach.
All respect intended, Coach. You got lucky. You got very, very lucky. She's not only beautiful, she's a very kind person as well. But let's go back to your mom and dad. Your mom and dad are the ones that initially coached you, trained you, raised you, and they raised you to be a kind and efficient person as well. And I think that's really become evident since your arrival at Missouri as the head coach, turning that program around. Well, it was this. Last match where you did pick up your 200th win in that 21-9 victory over ODU. Let's talk about the individuals that really did the work on the mat anyway. It was Joey LaValle at 57. He turned in one of his premier performances. Can you talk about him?
He's a true freshman that just keeps getting better and better, so it's exciting to see. He was a high school national champ, four-time state champ at a high school, and we knew coming in he was very talented, but he just keeps stepping up for us and beating people, and he sticks with his game plan. That's the thing I like about him best is he'll go out there, we'll give him the plan, and he executes it and sticks with it and wrestles at an extremely high pace, and that's what I like about the guys like that. I think of him as a younger type Hotteshell, just getting after it and getting after it, and that's a successful style.
It was two scoreless minutes. Does he get more frustrated or does he settle into it? I mean, if he has a plan, as you mentioned, does he just continue to work that plan? I would get frustrated.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't get frustrated. He sticks with it. That's the great thing about him being so young. You think, oh, he's not going to have that confidence to stick with his plan because he is a first-year college wrestler. But he gets after it and sticks with it and sticks with it, and just gets to his ties, hits his shots, and just eventually they're going to happen. And it did. It happened. And a couple weeks ago, the same thing. It was a tight match. He gets an escape in the second period in a really tight match and then shoots right off the escape and pins the kid. It just, every week he keeps showing us things that he's growing, maturing as a student athlete.
Obviously, while coached, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, at least within the boundaries of the rules. He finishes with a 7-2 decision. And here's my question, Coach. And again, this is an observation and a question, not a critique. 2 minutes 58 of riding time. Not necessarily the most exciting wrestling we hope to see, the riding time. Do you foresee at any point in your tenure that changing the at least 2 minutes 58 seconds of riding time? That's a whole lot of riding time.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, or it's almost 3 minutes of trying to turn the guy, and I think he did get a couple back points. So, it's how you look at it. The rules, the way they're set up now, that if you can ride a guy for over a minute, you get the point. And if you're trying to turn, and with our kids, we're always teaching, getting a leg in or tilts and trying to turn people, running bars, trying to turn people. And it breaks the spirit when you hold a guy down there and you can really wear a person out. So, I mean, that's what the rules are given to us. If it does change, I'm sure, every sport has changes and rules here and there. We've talked about changing riding time, but it has never really made it that far. I like it. I think it adds a whole nother dimension. The guy has to work on bottom and has to get off the bottom. And I think if you take it away, I don't know. I'd like to stick with the rules we have. I think we can change some little things to add. I think they have the rules in place, is what I'm trying to say. The rules are in place if the referees would call the stalling. If they don't think the guy's working for a turn, then hit him for stalling. If they don't think, he's working on his feet, then hit him for stalling. I think that's where the bigger issue comes in. I think we have the rules in place, but if the rules were followed by if it was executed by the referees, it would make it more exciting.
Your freshmen just keep getting better, coach, and they're
Yeah.
growing before your very eyes. I think that's the hallmark of a great head coach, is one that can continually bring in quality freshmen, work with them to advance to the point where they don't even know they can go. And you're watching this. You and your
Yeah.
staff, you're watching these guys get that much better every time they hit the mat.
It's been fun. We have 5 freshmen in the lineup, and 3 of them being true freshmen. So it's a lot of people observed it from the outside that Mizzou's going to be down this year, but our coaching staff, I have to give a lot of credit to my coaches in the off season and the summer and the spring and that early fall of what they were doing and the time they were putting into these kids in the weight room, into extra drills and things like that. It's paid off. It's really paying off that our guys are prepared and showing maturity now at this time of the year. They're really not freshmen anymore. They've grown into, like second. They're almost in their second year, it seems like, because the confidence that they're going out there on the mat with, and that's a good credit. That's a lot of credit to my assistant coaches and what they do.
And what a nice job LaValle did in that big win over Warner. Now we go on to Mays. Really like you to talk to us about Mays, because the duel was tied up 3-3 at this point, and you're 20th rank, and I believe that may be an incorrect ranking, but Mays took the mat and really stood up for what it means to be a Tiger.
Yeah, he lost a heartbreaker on riding time to the McCarty kid, who's real tough. I think he's ranked 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
But he has, I think, 3 overtime losses now, 2 to Haran, who's in the top 10, and 1 to McCarty, and he's been right in the thick of things in every match. And, he's beaten Leicester, he's beaten Colica from OSU. They've actually split. He's going to be one of those guys that's the nightmare draw at the Nationals, because I think he's close to being a top 10 kid, and he's just figuring it out. He came into the season, I think, projected as, we didn't even project him as a 41-pounder. He was wrestling 49 all last year. He showed up and said, "Coach, I've really controlled my weight and I've got it down, and I'm only weighing like 58 right now."
Wow.
Was it 51? I think it was 51. He showed up 10 pounds over and said, "I'm going to try and make the cut to 41 and see how it goes." And he's certified, and he's got his weight under control now. Started the season, I think, as the 3rd stringer, and now he's in the top 20 as a freshman and really turning a lot of heads. I've had a lot of our fans even mention to me that this kid's going to be something special, and which is great. It's nice to have a young man like that put the time in, step up, and make an impact in the program, especially as a freshman.
Talk to us about the 30th win for Hoderschelt, a nice 4-1 decision over Alex Richardson.
Yeah, he brings his lunch pail and just goes to work, and sometimes it's not pretty, but he is attacking. He is going forward and getting stall calls, and it seems like people are playing the edge and circling from him all the time and trying to get away from him. He's real physical in the ties, but he just keeps attacking and shooting and attacking and shooting. And I think he hit about 5 or 6 shots out of bounds with the guy running from him. But that's Drake. He's going to keep attacking you, and sometimes the match will only end up 3 or 4 to 1. But it's not from lack of action. It's just from people not engaging with him and wrestling with him.
He's a hard worker. You mentioned bring the lunch pail, head down. Truly, you've wrestled this kid when the match is over. And
Yeah, I heard that in high school. A lot of kids avoiding him, whatever weight class he was going as senior. Everybody was like, "I'm not going to go that weight class. That guy wrestles too hard."
Yeah.
And it's been the same thing all through his career. He's going to be going for his 3rd straight conference title. He's going for his 2nd All-American, and he's ranked number 1 in the country, going for the national title right now as a junior. And it's not from a lot of flash. We've had people with flash like Ben Askren in the past, but with Drake, he just is a hammer. He just is going to get after it and get in your face, and you better be ready to wrestle for 7 minutes because he's coming.
Lucky guy to have on the team too.
Yeah.
He leads by example. We like that. Looked at
No
that
doubt.
performance at the Southern Scuffle too. How about Zach Toll? It was his final home win on his senior day.
Yeah, real pleased. We got him back in the lineup. Him and Johnny Evelyn were out for the last 4 duels, so I think him coming back and Johnny coming back was the first time we've had our starting lineup together in a dual meet the entire year. So, we have one more duel with Kent State, but Zach having a senior back in, he's our only senior in the lineup, getting him back in there. He's ranked 10th or 12th in the country, somewhere in there. It's great to have him back in there. Just having the confidence that, hey, we got a senior going out there that makes very few mistakes the way he wrestles. It, I think, gave the bench with a young team a lot of confidence going into that duel with a hot Old Dominion team. I think they had won 5 straight duels and they'd come off beating Central Michigan and a couple other tough teams.
In baseball, there's something called a walk-off home run. You put the bat down, raise your arms, walk the bases, and the game is over. Well, your captain, Johnny Evelyn, did what in wrestling is the equivalent of a walk-off home run. Ties score and performs the takedown in the closing seconds. Boom, wins.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, he gives up a late takedown after controlling the match, and then he gets out, and they're battling. And if you even listen to the announcer's like, looks like we're going to go overtime, but the kid was taking a pressure on us. We shrug him off, hit a takedown right at the buzzer, and it was really nice. It was really exciting for the crowd. But it's just good to see a kid with that experience that's just to continue to wrestle. And I was pleased with Johnny because he had been hurt. He got hurt about a month ago, and there was a little rust in his match, I noticed. But the good thing is he just kept wrestling, and that's a big victory for him.
Jaden Cox sealed the deal for you guys, 9-2 win over Beasley to put the Tigers up 18-9. How important is Jaden Cox to the very future of the Tiger program?
Well, Jaden has probably improved more in one season than I've ever had in any wrestler that I've coached in 24 years. He just is, a lot of people think of him as a great athlete or, this talented young man, but I think the special part about Jaden is when he comes to his individual drill with me, he wants to learn and get better every day, and he not only learns it, but he will be doing it that day in practice. A lot of kids take months and sometimes years to learn new techniques. That kid, you show him something, and that day he's going out and executing it and doing it. And it's fun. It's a fun kid to coach. I mean, I tease my coaching staff all the time, and I say, hey, we just got to get this kid to the tee on time, and we're going to win that. But with him, there's a lot of stuff going on in the back, in the practice room where that he is a student of the game. He really wants to learn how to wrestle and get better and better, and he is. It's showing. I mean, he just keeps winning, and not just winning. He wants to dominate people. He's going after turns, and you talk about it. He may end up with 4 or 5 minutes of riding time, but he's got you cradled. He's got you fighting off your back. This kid is ferocious on top, and now he's added to his leg attacks where. Beginning of the year, he was just doing singles. Now he's hitting shots to both legs and snapping down and running behind. He has so many ways to score. He's going to be fun for a lot of Mizzou fans to watch wrestle.
Devon Melon is another one of those trademark Missouri guys. You've had such people talk about Minnesota and Jay Robinson and his heavyweights. Well, I would throw out there Missouri and your heavyweights. And Devon Melon needed a little overtime to get the job done, but nonetheless, time will tell if he's going to be a Mark Ellis or not, but dude's a big boy that can play, and he loves overtime, apparently.
Yeah, he's got some great shots, and he scored 3 takedowns in that match. So when Devon goes out there, it's not a typical heavyweight match. There's going to be some great leg attack attempts and scores. So we're pleased with it. He's worked out with Mark Ellis and Dom Bradley consistently over the last 4 years. He's a fourth-year junior, and we're excited to have him starting in the lineup as a freshman. He went to the NCAA, so this year he's gained a lot of confidence this second semester. Big win over Larson from Oklahoma, and he's gotten a couple wins in a row here over Eastern Michigan, Buffalo, and now the other day with Old Dominion. So he's kind of on a roll here, and I like seeing a kid get confidence at the end of the year. It's the most important part of the year.
With Brian Smith at the helm now with 200 career victories, he's been at the helm one of the nation's most prolific wrestling programs, 13 consecutive winning seasons, and now finding their home in the MAC and doing so with grand style. I'm sure the Tom Borellis of the world are going, geez, dude, we have to welcome him so well. You went into the MAC winning your first one. How does the MAC look to you this season? It's Tom Borelli calling right there.
Yeah, I would say the MAC this year is a lot tougher than it was last year, and that's not a discredit to we won the MAC last year, but I just look at the balance with Northern Iowa ranked in the top 10, Missouri ranked in the top 10, Old Dominion knocking teams off left and right, Central Michigan, Kent State, and Eastern Michigan has done some great things this year and has a talented lineup. I mean, I just look up and down. There's probably going to be 50 to close to 60 kids qualified to the NCAA. So it's going to be a very competitive conference tournament with how you match up and where you're seated, who's going to pull this thing off, and how you're going to qualify guys out. But I'm excited. That's why we came into the MAC. You have 9 good programs, and this year with 5 or 6 of them, with a lot of quality talent and individuals, it's going to make for an interesting conference meet.
When you left the Big 12, I got to tell you, I was scratching my head. I was hoping for a good and positive result in where you landed, and boy, did you guys land well. The MAC's stronger for it. Wrestling is stronger for it. Fans, you can follow the Tigers online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Use the hashtag TigerStyle. It's one of the best ways to be in touch, or just at mutigers.com. Brian, congratulations on career number 200, career win number 200. We're looking forward to seeing you at the MAC championships, and of course at the NCAA's in Oklahoma City. We appreciate your time today. We truly do.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate everything you do for the sport.
You have yourself a great one. For all of us at Takedown, a very special one-on-one with Brian Smith, as he gets one of those that coaches, you know what? They never really look at it, but when it happens, it's truly special. 200 career wins for the head coach of the Missouri Tigers, head coach Brian Smith.